Yo, what up, fam? It's your boy, Alex from I can't. No, I'm not there yet. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Do not do anything that you see in this video. Follow all of your local laws. I thought it would look more official if I read from a paper. What's up, guys? It's Alex from Maximum Charge, and today I'm going to show you how I did the shunt mod to this goatpowerbikes motor goat, and how I made it more powerful, and how I made it go even faster. Now notice how I didn't say, I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how you can do the same thing. Because I don't want you to go ahead and do this and then blame me if something happens to your bike, or even worse, you fly off your bike going 40 plus miles an hour. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's talk about what a shunt mod is. So in short, a shunt mod is where you trick the controller into pulling more current, more amps from the battery into your motor. Now, there's a risk to this because you're changing things in the bike and you're making them do things that they're not designed for, which causes heat buildup, or worse, stressing out your battery to the point of catastrophic failure, or maybe you make your motor overheat. So bad things can happen if you do this and you don't know what you're doing. All right, guys, so check this out. Let's go ahead and take the seat off, and let me show you guys what I did. All right, so the controller is down here. Of course, you guys know that. All right, so if you look right here, I added this battery blender. This goes up to 120 amps and up to 72 volts. That doesn't mean it's good for a 72 volt system. It just means that it goes up to 72 volts. But this is actually perfect for this bike, and let me tell you why. So when you do a shunt mod to a controller, it's going to draw more amps from the battery. And this battery wasn't designed for more amps to be drawn from it. This is a 50 amp controller. It was drawing 50 amps. So if I'm asking it for more amps, a couple things might happen. Number one is it's going to blow the discharge fuse inside and the battery won't work. Or the BMS will shut down in this battery to protect the battery cells, thus not giving me any power to the bike. And so what we needed is more available amps. And a really easy way you can do that is just to run two batteries in parallel. This is a different 60 volt battery that I had from a different e-bike build. And so what happens is that these two batteries run in parallel. And in theory, what happens then is that if these batteries are exactly the same voltage, the load distribution, the current draw, will be split more or less equally amongst these two batteries. So let's say this controller is drawing 50 amps. This battery will be giving 25 amps. This battery will be giving 25 amps as well. It's not 100% perfect. You guys will see why in the video, but for the most part, that's how it works. And now we can put a more powerful controller in here or shunt mod this and safely draw more current from the battery systems because now we have the available amps. So something that's important is that you need to make sure these batteries are as close to the same voltage as possible. So what I did was I went ahead and charged these two batteries up, and I found out that this charges up to 70 volts. Normally a 60 volt battery charges up to about 67.5 volts. This is going up to 70, and I was wondering, what's going on? Is it overcharging? What's happening? So I emailed customer support, and they actually said that's normal. This is what's called a 17S battery, not a 16S battery that most 60 volt systems are, like this one. So this one charges a little bit further than the 67.5 volts. So what I needed to do was make sure this was 67.5 volts and this was 67.5 volts. So I charged this up just about to the same voltage as this, and now we are good. Now this thing will equally distribute the current draw from both of these batteries. Otherwise, if this is higher, this battery will do more work, at least initially, and we'll have the same issue of the controller trying to over discharge this battery. All right, guys, so here we go. So the main battery runs in here, and the secondary battery runs in here. And then obviously the output goes straight into the controller. And I put this right here so that when the seat is on here, I can use my clamp meter to check how many amps are running through these wires, because they should be more or less equal, and they, for the most part, were. Essentially, this shunt mod gave me an extra 7 amps, which is less than I was hoping for. I was hoping for at least 10 amps, maybe more, but what are you gonna do? And we measured this and we found out that it was just about equal. I think one side was about 30 amps, this side was about like 27 amps, somewhere on there. And so that gave us a little bit more power, not so much in the low end. The 0 to 20 time was the same, but we did get a little bit more top speed and a little bit more mid-range torque. And so now what this bike is ready for is a custom-sized battery. I'm gonna reach out to Northeast Battery Systems and have Kevin build me a custom-sized battery for this. I don't have a good bag yet for that battery, so if you go ahead and call him, he doesn't have the bag either, but he can build a custom-shaped battery. So if you can find a solution for a thicker material bag for this, that would be great. I am working with Goat Power Bikes. They do have some kind of a bag on the way that looks like it'll be okay. But I just wanted to point that out. If you guys call him and ask him for a battery, he can build you a battery, but it's not gonna come with a proper bag that's thick and padded that can safely store a second battery in here. But yeah, what we'll do later, guys, is we're gonna go ahead and put a brand new controller in there, something that's gonna draw at or just a little bit under 100 amps, and we'll get a good amount of power going into this motor. One more thing, guys, I wanted to show you is this little thermal camera. This is a USB-C thermal camera that I put on my phone, and I ran a cable all the way up to the handlebars that plugs into my phone so I can watch this motor. I can watch the temperature of this motor. You guys will see it in the video. So guys, again, this battery is temporary. This is not the final product. I know sometimes people see videos online and they think, oh, that looks terrible, that looks hideous. I know, it does. And that's because this is a rough draft. This is just a test. I'm testing things out, and later on we're gonna have that custom battery made with the nice hard shell bag, and this thing is gonna look amazing. All right, guys, let me go ahead and show you how I did the shunt mod and then get into the test ride footage after.
All right, guys, so those are the shunts that you see on the screen. What we're gonna do is take some pliers and gently squeeze them together. They will put up a little bit of a fight. Don't push too hard, otherwise you're gonna break them. The one closest to you guys was giving me some resistance towards the end, so I didn't squeeze it all the way in, but it was good enough for the solder to stay in place. And by the way, I did not record taking this controller apart, but I did record putting it back together. And there it is. We slowly start adding a little bit of solder. At first, I put only a little bit on, and I found out that did absolutely nothing. It didn't give me any more power. And so what I went ahead and did was put more solder on. We completely covered all the shunts on the top, and that amount that you see there is what gave me the extra 7 amps. And I was very careful not to hit any of the capacitors or other components with the soldering iron. And now for putting everything back together, the controller housing has slots at the bottom. You want to make sure the PCB lines up with those slots. Slowly and carefully slide everything back in, making sure the wires aren't stuck on the edge of the box. And then go ahead and first tighten down the heatsink for the MOSFETs using the 3 Allen bolts. Please do not over tighten these, but make sure they are snug. And then obviously we're going to add on the end plates. So using the screws provided, go ahead and throw those back on both sides. And the wires seem to have some kind of a rubber gasket that we just slide into the plastic compression piece, whatever that thing is called. So go ahead and throw those in on both sides. And then take the screw part and screw those down, of course, to make sure everything is tight and snug. And there it is. Our controller is finished. But we're also going to add on a little bit of double-sided tape to make sure this controller does not rattle around, because if you guys remember, that was an issue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first test ride with the full shunt modded Goat Power Bikes motorgoat first generation controller. As you can see on my phone, we don't have the speedometer up. Although we now know that this speedometer is accurate because we set the wheel size to 22.8. So we could just use that. But if you notice on my phone, I have my thermal camera recording, actively recording. So we'll keep this up as an overlay on the video itself. We're going to be seeing how many amps this bike is pulling. And we'll see if it's even faster than before. We'll first do some tests. We're not going to go up this hill completely. What I'm going to do, let me show you guys. What I'm going to do is use this clamp meter, set it to amps, and then max. And we're going to throw this around one of the wires to see what the max amp draw is, just for a second, because I can do that just by accelerating up a hill, maybe for like half a second or 1 second. See where it is. All right, so now we're talking. Now we're at 32.25. All right, so on this side, it showed 25.52 amps. So 25 plus 32, that's only 57. That's not a whole lot. That's an extra 7 amps. We're probably not going to see too much of a performance change. Go ahead and ride around. Let's do this main hill climb test while the batteries are fresh. See if there's an improvement in time. Both batteries are charged to 67 volts. And what's interesting is that the big battery, the stock battery that this bike comes with, is made differently than a normal quote-unquote 60-volt battery. It's a 17S battery versus 16S like most 60-volt batteries, so it charges up to 70 volts. And so it's very, very, very important that you only charge it up to 67 volts. Otherwise, it will be doing too much work. It'll be doing most of the amp discharge, or at least trying to, and you will blow out a fuse. So guys, without further ado, main hill climb test. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Maybe a little bit faster. Yeah, might be a tiny bit faster. We're gonna head down to our top speed testing site. See what that speed is. We'll see what we get. Alright, so far we're looking good. I think we're going a little faster. 45 miles an hour on this area. That's pretty fast. .46. Wow. All right, 47. When I was doing the review, if you guys remember, I only went a max of like 45 down this area. So we might have gotten a little bit more top speed. All right, that's interesting. Motor temperature looks A-okay. Although it is cold outside and we did just get started. Turn signal. Because we are official. We're officially turning right, ladies and gentlemen. Turn signal off. Here we go. See that? Following the rules of the road. I know some of you guys are going to appreciate that. We might also be getting a higher top speed because there's less voltage sag. So when you demand a lot of power from a battery, the voltage will kind of sag down a bit. And that'll obviously reduce how much power you get, but with dual batteries, that happens less. Dual batteries are more resistant to voltage sag, and that might also be a contributing factor to the increased top speed. Higher voltage allows the motor to have a higher RPM. But look at this, guys. We could just easily keep up with traffic. We're just chilling. It's like a little mini motorcycle. It's so cold, guys. It's like, I don't know, 35 with the wind. It sucks. Kind of wish I wore my balaclava. I love saying that word. Balaclava. Say that 10 times really fast. Yeah, we're easily hitting 40. We're going to turn the GPS on in a second regardless, because I always do all my top speed runs with my GPS to keep it consistent and accurate. We're not going to do any of that funny business of going down a slight downhill with a tailwind or anything like that. Adjusting the wheel size.
saying, oh, this bike can go this fast, when in actuality, it cannot. You guys are gonna get the real deal, folks. And I did install the pedals on this bike, the pedal assist. We have functioning pedals as well. This is officially now an electric bicycle, not an e-moped, an e-bike. Ladies and gentlemen, we have officially 100% transitioned. Let's pull over here to the side, get our GPS set up. Wait for some cars to pass by. Even though we could go, I do like it when we got an open road. Keeping it safe. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, last time we got 40 miles an hour. Let's see if we can get faster than that. I'm gonna read off the speed for you guys. Tuck down. 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. All right, already improvement. 41. Turn it around. And we'll do that again, ladies and gentlemen. 3, 2, 1, go. Tuck down. $40, 41, 42. All right. So we got to 42 on the way back, 41 on the way down. I think we would have hit 42 if we kept going. The motor is still cool as a cucumber, only 18 degrees Celsius. Yeah, because we're only getting a couple more amps. You know, it's crazy how you get used to the speed. Going 40 miles an hour now feels slow. I'm telling you guys, you get used to everything. It's a blessing and a curse. You know, you get your first e-bike and maybe it can go 30. And then you're like, oh, this new one that you got, they can go 40. Another one you got goes 50, 45. You get used to all of it. It's terrible. But see this, I'm keeping up with this car easy. 38 miles an hour uphill. The power of this e-bike is awesome. It's amazing. Look at this. Pretty much a motorcycle. Unreal. We're going 37 up this hill. The motor temperature is still fine. Let's actually test the amps going up this hill. 27, yeah. 30 amps, okay, yeah, so 27 and 30. Yeah, guys, not a whole lot, not a big improvement. We're at 57 amps. If I were you, I would not do this mod. Just get a new controller. But in the meantime, let's ride around a little bit, use up more energy, bring the voltage down a bit. At least we tried, guys. Motor is still staying cool. Of course, it is cold outside. Big hill climb. Cool as a cucumber. 23 degrees Celsius. Alright guys, so that's it for today. Conclusion. We got a couple extra amps, 7 amps, somewhere on there. I don't know if I could put more solder on those shunts. I did put a good amount. Motor is still cool. We'll see what kind of acceleration difference there is. We'll check it in the video. If you guys are watching this, you would have already seen it. And top speed, you might get 1 to 2 extra miles an hour. And that's with the stock controller, version 1. Again, guys, there is another version coming out. We'll see how that goes. That's it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay healthy. God bless America. Until next time.